It began in the silence of 1962, deep in the Nevada desert, a place where the stars seemed too close and the shadows too aware. The Cold War had driven nations to paranoia, but what happened on that night was beyond human imagination. A group of military scientists gathered at a remote testing facility, expecting to witness a new weapons experiment. Instead, they became witnesses to history's greatest secret. A flash of light erupted across the desert sky, not an explosion, but a descent. The air shimmered as if reality itself bent under pressure. The ground trembled and the instruments went dead. From the dust and static, a craft emerged sleek, metallic, and impossibly silent. It landed without sound, settling like a ghost upon the sand. Out of the craft stepped beings that defied logic, tall, slender, with reflective skin that shifted like liquid mercury under moonlight. They moved with purpose, unthreatening yet commanding. The soldiers who raised their weapons felt an overwhelming calm, as if their fear had been erased from within. What followed was not war, but negotiation. Within hours, the base was sealed. Helicopters circled. The few who saw the descent were silenced or relocated. The government denied everything as usual. But inside the underground chambers of Groom Lake, the greatest meeting in human history took place, the beginning of the secret treaty. Files marked Majestic 12 would later suggest that this wasn't humanity's first contact, only the first agreement. The aliens proposed technology beyond comprehension in exchange for something far more abstract: permission. Permission to operate in secrecy, to observe and collect biological samples. The officials signed, believing it was a small price for progress. Above ground, the stars resumed their stillness. But underground, humanity had crossed a line that could never be undone. The scientists celebrated the dawn of a new age, unaware that the ink of that treaty was written in more than just pen. It was written in trust, and that trust would soon be betrayed. The lights in the desert dimmed, and the first experiment began. The year was 1962, and the United States had just stepped out of one crisis and into another. Behind closed doors, in a heavily guarded underground facility in Nevada, a secret committee convened. These were not politicians or generals, they were the architects of secrecy, the unseen hands that shaped history. Their mission: to maintain the treaty that had been signed in silence between humans and something not of this earth. Only a handful of men and women knew of the original contact, an event that occurred during the height of post-war paranoia. The aliens, calling themselves the emissaries, had come not as conquerors, but as negotiators. They offered knowledge, clean energy, advanced metals, and biological breakthroughs. In return, they asked for access to Earth's hidden genetic vault, human DNA, taken discreetly. What they sought was not domination, but preservation. Their species was dying, and Earth's genetic diversity was their last hope. Over the years, the treaty had grown darker. Abductions were disguised as disappearances. Experiments were classified as scientific progress. Nations collaborated under the illusion of rivalry, keeping the world distracted with wars and propaganda. The real battle was for control of knowledge and trust. But not everyone was loyal to the pact. A scientist named Dr. Elaine Porter, who worked deep inside Project Echo, began noticing patterns, anomalies in DNA samples that didn't belong to any known species. Her curiosity led her to restricted files marked Treaty Continuation Protocol. Inside, she found evidence of hybrid births, covert experiments, and silent cooperation between alien envoys and government scientists. Her discovery made her a threat. The men in the shadows were watching her, the same men who had signed the first agreement decades earlier. They understood the cost of truth, and they knew what must be done to protect it. That night, under the hum of flickering fluorescent lights, Dr. Porter vanished. Her office was sealed, her research erased. The official report listed her as transferred. But somewhere in a locked facility, miles beneath the desert, her findings were preserved, waiting for someone brave enough to uncover what humanity had truly agreed to. By the late 1990s, the world began to notice strange fluctuations in satellite signals, bursts of unexplainable radiation, flashes of blue light above the atmosphere, and missing aircraft near restricted zones. Governments denied everything, yet evidence pointed back to the same source. The alien alliance had broken. Something had gone wrong deep within the underground bases that once symbolized cooperation. Dr. Keller, now in hiding, had spent years collecting fragments of data leaked by anonymous insiders. The files hinted that humanity had pushed the treaty too far, attempting to reverse-engineer alien technology not meant for human hands. The experiments had destabilized the energy cores that powered the alien crafts, causing rifts in both time and matter. These rifts began spreading, unseen but catastrophic. In one forgotten desert facility, soldiers reported seeing glowing silhouettes emerge from containment pods, beings neither human nor alien, but something in between. The hybrid experiment had failed, and the results were beyond control. Panic ensued. Entire labs were incinerated. Governments blamed rogue scientists, while the truth was buried beneath layers of false reports. The treaty had become a weapon turned inward. Meanwhile, civilians around the world began witnessing bizarre phenomena, sky patterns shifting, radio waves whispering unknown languages, and black drones hovering in silence. The aliens, realizing humanity's betrayal, started recalling their emissaries. The partnership had ended, and with it, the illusion of trust. The secret once meant to secure Earth had become the key to its unraveling. Dr. Keller's last recorded message spoke of a sealed vault beneath the Arctic ice, a final attempt to contain what was left of the treaty. Inside, he claimed, was an object that could end the chaos or reignite the connection between species. No one ever confirmed the vault's existence, but several expeditions vanished trying to locate it. Now, decades later, fragments of the truth still emerge, videos, recordings, classified leaks, all pointing to one reality: humanity was never in control. The treaty was never truly mutual. It was a test, and perhaps we failed it. The world watches the skies again, wondering not if they will return, but when they'll come to collect what's rightfully theirs.